out through Elizabeth, Gawler, and some pushing through the Barossa as well. But look, we are expecting that rain to persist as a big area of low pressure moves across our southern states.
Lightning strikes have sparked power outages, with 14 currently across the state, affecting around 1,600 people. The fan zone at Elder Park was temporarily evacuated this morning due to storm activity. And the weather has impacted flights into Adelaide. A Jetstar service from Melbourne circled here for half an hour late morning before returning to Tullamarine. Other flights have been diverted and delayed. The federal government is extending the deployment of an Australian surveillance aircraft to the United Arab Emirates. An E-7A Wedgetail was sent to the UAE last month to help the nation defend itself against Iranian strikes. The aircraft was initially deployed for a 4-week period, but the Prime Minister says it will now stay in the region for longer. Well, the nation's 2 largest oil suppliers have signed on to the federal government's scheme to underwrite the cost of fuel imports. The government has passed legislation allowing them to cover the cost of importing expensive fuel to ensure businesses don't make a loss. Oil companies FIVEAA Energy and Ampol have now agreed to terms with Labor. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says it will allow more fuel to flow to the regions.
This is additional supply here in Australia that they will be able to source. And as part of this agreement, of course, the government can direct where that supply goes, so that particularly going to regional Australia and areas that are under pressure in terms of supply.
Grace Thames Foundation is closing down after 5 years. In a statement, the board says they've helped drive landmark reforms for child sexual abuse survivors. It's been reported the company was in debt, owing close to $130,000. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
McCafe's coffee blend is worth getting out of bed for. It's smoother, richer and available on the all-day menu.
The Crows are under pressure to get back on the winners list tonight. They're playing the Gather Round opener against Carlton at Adelaide Oval. Gates open at 5:30. The game starts at 7:10 and will be live on 5AA. Port will name their Gather Round squad tonight. They face the Saints on Sunday night. Meantime, Port Adelaide coach Josh Carr has rejected former assistant coach Chad Corns' claim he expects Mitch Georgiades to go back to Perth at the end of next year.
He'd have no idea about what Mitch actually wants to do. It's a guessing game, and I think it's pretty easy to say when we've lost a couple of games that people look and say you shouldn't have lost those games. All of a sudden it looks like no one wants to be at our football club, where that's wrong.
Changes are on the way for this year's AFLW fixture. There'll be a shift away from smaller suburban venues with more matches played at AFL venues. It will feature 4 doubleheader games with AFL matches. And Cam Smith will be the first of 4 Australians to tee off at the Masters. Jason Day, Adam Scott and Minwoo Lee also in action. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Afternoon, damp roads from early showers. Take it easy on greasy roads for the drive home. Unley blackout affecting lights on Green Hill Road near Unley Road. Well, in-road plates in use from a busted sewer Port Road near Way Terrace, and Blackwood Level Crossing fault on Brighton Parade causing few delays. Cameras this afternoon, Cliff Street, Glengarry and Toothy Street, Melbourne. Upgrade your drive, the Maserati Grecale Trofeo all-wheel drive performance SUV. Pure Italian V6 intensity with 3-year fixed service plan at your nearest Maserati dealer. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, showers, a possible storm this afternoon. Showers increasing tomorrow, 19. Saturday, a shower or 2, 18. Sunday, a shower or 2 clearing, 19. Right now, it is 19 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Alice Monfries. Tonight, a soggy start to Gather Round. Will it clear up for the rest of the footy festival? Plus, which state is bidding to host a second Gather Round next year? The latest twist in the alleged murder of a southern suburbs father. The government's new fuel deal boosting our supplies. And Australia Post's urgent scam warning. 9 News, your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and 9 now.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the third and final hour of the afternoon's program, and we are live on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, so jump on and say hi. In around half an hour, we will tell you what's coming up for Gather Round. Of course, the footy, but you know me, I like to look at the little events happening off to the side of the footy. And this year, if you're going to the Crows or the Port game, I'm likening it to a Taylor Swift concert. When I went to the Taylor Swift concert, we had these fancy little light-up wristbands and they lit up in different ways and it was like a light show as well as watching her on stage. Well, there'll be something similar at the Crows and Port game at Adelaide Oval and I'm looking forward to talking about that. And Run for Your Club is on down at the River Torrens on Saturday morning. It's only $10 to get involved and it sounds like a great cause. All money raised will go towards the Women's and Children's Hospital Foundation. And Dylan Buckley from Dylan Friends podcast is the ambassador, so he's going to join us after 3:30 as well. And he's a Victorian, so I might ask him whether or not he thinks Gather Round should stay or if he thinks it should be shared around with some other states as well. But at 3:08 here on 5AA, last week we had the Police Commissioner, Grant Stevens, in the studio and you were asking him questions and so many of you had questions about e-bikes and e-scooters. In his answers, he mentioned that there was going to be a review of the legislation later this year because in July it will be 12 months since the privately owned e-bikes and e-scooters were allowed on roads and footpaths in different ways. And so I thought it would be wise to get the Transport Minister, Joe Sockarch, into the studio to answer your questions on the review, which is happening later this year. And he joins you now. Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon, Stacey and all your listeners. Good to be here.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Because, a lot of people are interested in this e-bikes and e-scooter review. When will it be happening?
So it's going to be happening by mid-year. So one of the first things that I did becoming Minister just a couple of weeks ago now was to speak in some length with the Department of Infrastructure and Transport, particularly on our, as we've assessed it and learned, and continuing to learn in the first period of which we have regulated and legalised, e-scooters and personal mobility devices here in South Australia. South Australia was a state which moved towards the end of the pack in other jurisdictions, which I think gave us some benefit in that we were able to learn from some of the early regulation lessons of other states and some of those other states now are playing catch-up still to South Australia. But the review is not only important, but it's also one that we put in when we passed the laws in the first place, and one that I know that your listeners and many people in the community are keen to be involved in. So it's going to be a public review. We're going to have lots of public consultation available for everyday South Australians to participate in that through our Your Say website as well.
So anyone can have their say on it? Yeah,
that's right. It's really important to me that we get to do that. Of course, we'll be relying really heavily on experts and industry and stakeholders, but we also want to be able to provide a platform for South Australians from right across the four corners of our state to participate through their own experiences or through their own suggestions as well.
I think that's really important because, like I said, lots of people have concerns about the legislation, and there are a couple that come up pretty regularly for us. One of those is the shared footpaths, which are quite popular along the coastal walkways. We had Jeanette in Somerton Park ring up last week and talk about how unsafe she feels in that area just to go for a walk along the coastline now because she's walking on the footpath and their e-bikes and e-scooters are allowed on there. And even though the Police Commissioner said there is a speed limit on there, I think it's 10k an hour for them, no one knows, or maybe they do know and they just don't comply. So she feels quite unsafe around them. Will you be looking at things like that?
We will. I think there's probably safe to say that nothing is off limits. It doesn't mean that everything then will be fixed or changed or ideated. But, just to perhaps speak on that example, e-scooters are treated similarly to bikes, to everyday traditional push bikes that are allowed to be used in South Australia on footpaths and on these shared use walkways. And it is correct to say that there are really strict speed limits on these. And we were talking before I came on air about common sense. And it's, for me, whether you're on an e-scooter, an e-bike, in your motor vehicle, we have really strict speed limits for a reason. It's to keep people safe. Sadly, as much as I would love to say that I could do this, it's difficult to pass laws that outlaw stupidity. And I'll probably use another word that I shouldn't use on air, but the sort of no idiots test.
I almost had my hand on the dump button. I've never had to hover over that for a minister. Thank you.
Not today. Won't be the first time today, Stacey. But that it's a real. It's finding that balance, and I do get frustrated. And I do get frustrated on behalf of many of your listeners as well. And it's about finding the balance. And the one thing that I could say really openly today, and that I'll be saying as the Minister through this review that will be undertaken by the middle of the year, is people have really got to step up and do the right thing, or put themselves at risk of seeing a winding back of the way that we can freely use these devices. We want people to be getting out of their cars, using new and emerging technologies to get around, particularly at the moment when we see fuel being so expensive and no great end in sight of the Middle East war. But what we don't want to see is a couple of people, very, very small number of people who are behaving like morons, wind things back or risk winding things back for the vast majority of South Australians who are just getting out there, being active and doing the right thing.
Faye in Windsor Gardens has called in on 8223 0000. Hi, Faye.
Yes, good afternoon to the both of you. My thought is that with regard to this view, I would like to see the government to do the following. My thought is, number one, when it comes to pedestrians on footpaths, the people who own the scooters and that, they must be registered. Two, they have to have a bell. We've been calling for this for a long time. And also... Because
you're vision impaired, aren't you, Faye?
Yes.
So that must really impact yourself to be vision impaired. If you can't hear an e-bike or e-scooter coming behind you, that would be quite scary.
Well, this is it. And because this is why our community especially have been calling for this, and I feel that the government of the day just has not been listening to not only just us, but I mean generally others too. I'm sure there'd be other groups of other people, of all sorts, that are requiring this same thing. The other thing is too, when a person, if it's you or I that gets knocked over, who do we turn to? Because we have not got anyone that we can turn to, and I think it should be made known straight out. Lastly, if there's too many accidents, then ban them altogether.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts, Faye. Minister, I'll put a couple of those points to you. Will you look at a form of registration or insurance for these types of vehicles?
Yeah, look, it'll be part of the stakeholder engagement. It is also important that I say this, even though I wasn't the minister at the time, that the review that was undertaken to pass these laws in the first place did contemplate all of these matters. None of these matters are surprising. None of these matters are new. And they were all contemplated, and some were worked with, and some were ruled out for various reasons, all very reasonable as well. I'm really sorry for Faye's experiences, and what I can say is there are requirements already on devices around, audibility and bells.
Okay.
Again, it comes down to a previous comment that I made about people need to use them, and people do need to be mindful of all people on our sidewalks, and whether it's Faye who is vision impaired or children or other people, whether it's, who cares what age, everyone has the right to feel safe. A bit of common sense is really important. But all these matters will be looked at, and will take Faye's and others, particularly from the community that represent those who are vision impaired, on board as we look at what a future-proof regulatory regime looks like.
Is it about an education campaign then? If the rules are there, and I know I was covering this during the consultation period before the legislation was introduced, all the stakeholders, SAPOL was involved, the department was involved, and it was quite a lengthy period of consultation to get these laws in place where insurance and registration were all talked about. And so I know it was quite a comprehensive process, and you learn as you go, I guess. So is it now maybe an education piece? Do you need to go out in schools and let the kids know how they can operate these things? Because that does seem to be a problem for people.
Yeah, look, it's a really, really good point you raise. And road safety more broadly is something that is really critical. And the department and the new police minister and road safety minister, Michael Brown, I know is very passionate about this, and getting this, contemporary conversation with children as early as possible is just so critical. A lot of money is spent on these types of campaigns. In fact, every single cent that is raised by way of mobile phone detection cameras or speed cameras is reinvested back into these initiatives. Every single cent by law. So being modernised and contemporary is important. And kids love these. I'm not going to pretend. I get out to schools and see, and in fact, young people raise it with me just as a local member of parliament, how much they love these personal mobility devices. I see a lot of families in my local area of Cheltenham commuting to school in a really responsible way doing it. And we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We want families to be responsible. We want kids to learn to be responsibles and take calculated risks, if I can put it that way. You can't eliminate risk from everything in life. What I want to see kids knowing is being aware of risk and knowing exactly how to mitigate against those. Wear a helmet, wear knee pads and elbow pads, and always follow the speed limit, whether you're on an e-bike, whether you're on a scooter, or more importantly, as they get older, in a motor vehicle.
8223 0000 is the number to call if you've got a question for the Minister. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, I've got some more questions myself, but I'm more interested in yours, so get on the phone now.
Some of the most important work happens quietly. For more than 4 decades, Nature Foundation has been conserving and restoring South Australian landscapes, protecting native plants and wildlife so they survive long into the future. If this sounds worth protecting, it is. Find out how you can be part of the change at naturefoundation.org.au.
The Lion Hotel's Block Party is back. Watch your gather-round games live and loud. Meet footy legends Riley Thilthorpe, Tex Walker and more. Outdoor big screen drink specials, live entertainment. The Lion Hotel, North Adelaide. Activities Wednesday to Saturday, midday till late.
BRW, Bathroom Renovators Warehouse.
Looking for a stunning new bathroom? Want the high-end look without spending a fortune? BRW can design and renovate your bathroom from start to finish at a budget that suits you. Visit our showroom today and see our beautiful new bathrooms on display. BRW, beautiful bathrooms at warehouse prices. 16 Research Road, Paraka.
We are BRW, Bathroom Renovators Warehouse.
Get ready, AFL fans. The Pepsi Collective is back and bigger than ever. Catch Cyril, Havana Brown, Sergeant Slick, Andrew Loadsman and more at Adelaide Oval's premium match day experience. Across all 4 epic days of Gather Round, the Pepsi Collective boasts incredible music, entertainment and footy. Tickets are selling fast. Head to gatherround.afl. The AFL Gather Round, a festival of footy, April 9 to 12.
Before things really start to heat up, call in and see us at the gas shop. We have a large range of cooling options suitable for any home. We only stock the best, trusted brands, and we can install for you too, so the whole process is seamless.
Do the voice!
Oh, you mean...
This voice. At the gas shop, we'll keep you cool all summer long. The Gas Shop, 161 Unley Road, opposite Target. Cool.
A full bottle of LPG? That's useful. 2 bottles? Even more useful. Your first 2 bottles of LPG for $79 each with delivery from Origin? That's all kinds of useful. Sign up by 30 September, only in selected areas. Equipment fee and T's and C's apply.
Soft drinks, sport drinks, fruit drinks, energy drinks. The sugar in any sugary drink is sugar your body doesn't need. It can get turned into fat, including toxic fat around your vital organs, which can lead to cancer, type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Our bodies work best on water. It's sugar-free, fat-free, and if you get it from the tap, virtually free. Find out more at livelighter.com.au. A message from Preventive Health SA.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
21 minutes past 3 here on 5AA. The Transport Minister is in the studio, Joe Sockarch, answering your questions. We're talking about a review of e-bike and e-scooter legislation. The review will take place a bit later in the year, by mid-year. And Minister, I wanted to ask you about whether or not the review could or would look at an age limit, because I know that I don't think there's an age limit on the e-bikes. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So at present, the e-scooters do have an age limit. E-bikes are treated a little bit differently, and I think a little bit differently because by the very nature of a bicycle, they are much closer to existing frameworks that govern push bikes. But it's very much my view that we should be looking at age limits. Not that I have a predetermined idea or view, but to see that other states who have, as I said before, moved earlier than South Australia to legalise in the first place and have subsequently moved to further regulate, they are looking at and have looked at age limits. I think that's really important and reasonable for South Australia to do the same.
And someone on the text line, I haven't been able to double check this, but someone on the text line says, I think Queensland's mandated that riders have to have a learner's licence. And I love that idea because I think if you are able to use one of these devices on a road, then you probably should understand the road rules, and having a learner's licence ensures that you have that. Is that something we could look at?
Yeah, look, absolutely we could look at it. And I think we've got to be careful. As I said, my view is about wanting personal mobility devices and e-scooters to support individuals who, for their own reasons, are choosing to be more active, but also might mean that for some reasons people may not be able to legally hold a driver's licence. It could be for, a series of personal medical reasons. They might have anxiety in the vehicles. I know a lot of younger people these days who, probably unlike you and I, who got out there the second we turned 16 to get our L's, are not doing the same. And there are, people in their early 20s who are really, really high achievers that haven't got their L's. I wouldn't necessarily want to limit people from doing the right thing on e-scooters because they haven't got their licence. But I think age limits is something that should be looked at.
Why not, though? Why not have a driver's licence? Why wouldn't that be something that you would, I guess, champion or necessarily support? If these, I guess an e-bike or an e-scooter has more power, more speed than a regular bike?
It does, although they are limited. Licensing and registration and the like was looked at and evaluated really deeply and comprehensively only in the last couple of years when the department and our former government moved to regulate and legalise these devices. One thing that some of your listeners may know, many probably don't, is that there are really, really strict laws in place that mean that e-scooters and e-bikes have to be speed limited. That means that they cannot legally be used on our roads or our shared use paths if they can go above a certain speed limit.
Oh, but you can buy them.
But you can buy them. And this has sat uneasy with me where and I won't name retailers because retailers are just doing what they're legally allowed to do through federal laws. You can buy an e-scooter that is sold as being for private property use only, which is then not speed limited. I think that's pretty cute. And one thing that I've taken on board since becoming minister a couple of weeks ago is that I would like to see a really strong, nationally consistent approach to actually allowing these e-scooters into the country. And we've got to be pretty frank and upfront about this. There's not much use in my mind about why you would be jutting around on your block of property out the back of your house that's not speed limited. And if we're going to be serious and consistent about knowing that we should have e-bikes and e-scooters in our community, that we might also have to take a tough approach to saying that we won't allow those that don't meet our standards into the country at all.
So are you bringing up that with your federal counterparts?
Yeah, look, I will be. I won't jump too early. I think it's unfair on the Commonwealth who have done a really, really good job at putting some guardrails in place. But I'll be speaking to my counterparts in other states, particularly as South Australia always has to strive for a nationally consistent approach. That works for everybody. I think it's good for, as you mentioned before, good for education, good for a nationally consistent, harmonised approach, but also to work collaboratively with the Commonwealth who do have the responsibility for border control to see if we can't be tighter in allowing bikes that are inherently unnecessary into our country in the first place.
Now, Howard wants to know, he wants to use his e-scooter to get to the train station instead of his car, but he can't then take his e-scooter on the train to get that second part of the way to work. Is that something that could be looked at, or is there a reason why they're not allowed?
Yeah, so the reason why they are not allowed on our on our trains, for example, in Howard's case, is that the advice that was received at the time, and it remains the advice from our first response agencies, our fire services, our safety regulators, is a concern with fires that have emanated from these devices in other states and around the world. And we continue to work with our experts. I am not a fire expert, but when I was the Emergency Services Minister, I know that we rely on the good folk in our fire services and first response agencies to give us that advice. As it currently stands, we are not contemplating changing that because the advice that we've received from our first response agencies is that the risk is still there. And we don't want to be placing an unnecessary risk or burden on, for example, trains where we've seen experiences from around the world that have given us concern.
Okay. Jeanette in Somerton Park has called in. Good afternoon, Jeanette.
And John. Stacey.
Oh, and John's there too. It's always Jeanette and John. Hello, both. Jeanette, I mentioned your story to the Minister earlier.
Yeah. Oh, we missed it.
Has the Minister been down along the actual esplanade on a weekend at Somerton Park or Glenelg or Seacliff or Brighton?
Because it's not just e-scooters, it's push bikes. No one's slowing down. No one rings the bell. They're weaving in and out. And it's just chaos down here. It's absolutely
nobody
mad.
knows if it's 10 kilometres an hour, which the Police Minister just said last week. I don't think anybody knows that at all because everyone's doing a lot faster than that, even on just regular bikes. And there really shouldn't be a place for pedestrians and the
children and dogs
bikes on a footpath. It's so dangerous. It was never allowed, in the past. But can I just ask, can the government at least do a road safety campaign to inform the riders of these vehicles that they need to slow down and give way to pedestrians, ring their bell, and it's 10 kilometres on a footpath.
And Joe, there's no consequences for anybody. There are thousands and thousands of incidents every month down here. And you say anything to anyone and you're told to, you know what? Unbelievable. This isn't kids.
I don't know if they're still listening.
Thank you both. We'll appreciate the call. I'll put that to the Minister.
Well, thank you, Jeanette and John. Was it John? Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Jeanette and John. And I'm sure, I know the Police Commissioner is an avid listener of Stacey and 5AA in afternoon, so I'm sure that he and his team are taking this on note as well. And he's a great and accessible police leader who I know was speaking about exactly these things with Stacey just last week. Public education is really important, and thank you for raising your concerns, and we'll endeavour to do all that we can as well. And I'll raise particularly the suggestion of Jeanette and John with Michael Brown, the new Police Minister, and just to better understand what is being done in that space. But anything we can do to speak to more people and to educate and to have the positive conversation, as I said before, is important. We want people doing the right thing. We want people enjoying the outdoors. I don't want to be, and nor does anybody else want to be saying, right, we're banning everything. We just want people to be doing the right thing, and that's a shared responsibility on all of us.
I've suggested councils as well, because particularly if that's down near the coast, why not put up some signs and say bikes and scooters 10k an hour only?
Yeah,
let people know.
Yeah, and that's a great suggestion, and I'm going to quietly jot it down now and have some conversations with my team back in the department as well.
All right, and you can put at the bottom trademark Stacey Lee.
Thanks to Stacey.
5AA afternoons.
Authorised by S.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. There we go. All right, Minister, thank you for coming in and taking our questions and listening to our listeners as well. So when the review happens mid-year, we'll get you back on. And you can tell everyone how they can have their say as part of the review as well.
Yeah, we'd love to be back on and talk to you and your listeners about how they can participate. And as I said before, really committed to ensuring that everyone has their voice, and that we also continue to listen to a really significant body of experts who are supporting the government and policy leaders right across the country in finding the right balance between this emerging technology and ensuring that everyone feels safe and well on our streets and roads as well.
And is there a time limit put down for the review yet, or is it just an ongoing review?
We're not going to have it dragging on for months and months and months, but we're going to have it open for a long enough period to ensure that everyone gets to have their say.
All right. Great. We'll talk to you about it a bit closer to when it's happening, Minister. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Stacey.
Joe Sokach, the Minister for Transport and Infrastructure. Time for news headlines now, and after that, what else is happening around Gather-Round? Of course, there's the footy, but if you're up on Saturday morning and you'd like to go for a little walk or a run around the Torrens, you can do it for a good cause, and there's a special laser show happening at Adelaide Oval. We'll tell you all about that as well.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the 3:30 News headlines. Adelaide Oval has been declared a public precinct for Gather-Round, giving police additional powers to ensure the safety of fans. The weather has impacted several domestic flights into Adelaide today. One Jetstar plane returned to Melbourne after failing to land here. The opposition says the federal government should be providing publicly accessible data on the state of the nation's fuel supplies. And in sport, changes are on the way for this year's AFLW fixture. There'll be a shift away from smaller suburban grounds with more matches played at AFL venues. The 5AA forecast, showers, a possible storm this afternoon. Showers increasing tomorrow, 19. Right now it is 20 degrees. We'll have more news at 4 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
5AA Weekend Breakfast. Mike Keelan and Angie McBride.
I brought the note in, but I'll do it later.
You're going to tell us how to do a poo sample, is that what's going to happen?
Exactly right.
That is groundbreaking radio, people. You'll want to tune in for that. Let's do it at breakfast time. That's even better.
Yes, when the bacon and eggs are sizzling.
Yeah.
Weekends from 6 a.m.
So apologies, everybody.
It's going to happen.
On 5AA, always Adelaide.
Imagine you have a dog bounding across your garden of lush green turf. He jumps, he rolls, he lays on his back, feet in the air, and gives himself a good old scratch. A dog really knows how to appreciate grass. And you can appreciate yours every day when you lay lawn in your garden from the Turf Farm. The Turf Farm plant it, nurture it, harvest it, deliver it. And importantly, they guarantee it. Trust the Turf Farm. Go to theturffarm.com.au.
Imagine walking into your home and falling in love with it all over again. At Adelaide Renos Group, we help make that happen. From kitchens and bathrooms to full home renovations, our local renovation team makes it simple with instant quotes and designs brought straight to your door. Our mobile showroom means you can visualise your renovation in your home in real time. For inspiration and information, visit adelaidebuildingandrenos.com.au. Adelaide Renos Group. Your home, only better.
What makes Ray White the big name in business broking? They're people, like multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year, Brett Buckley, and his team of business professionals. They take a deep dive into your business, finding value and potential, and they know what they're looking for because they know businesses. They're not real estate salespeople trying to sell businesses, they're business people selling businesses. If you want to know what your business is worth, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Multiple Business Broker of the Year awards.
A pedicure should feel good, and at Medipedi it does from the ground up. Medipedi combines the indulgent touch of beauty therapy with the trusted skills of podiatry, creating Adelaide's first medical pedicure. It's a treatment like no other. Your feet expertly cared for by a podiatrist, then pampered by one of Medipedi's trained beauty therapists. Because looking after yourself should feel exquisite right down to your toes. With 4 Adelaide locations, book now at medipediclinics.com.au. Medipedi, feel good from the ground up.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Statesman Windows, a local homegrown success story, has been serving home renovators and builders right across SA for over 45 years. Their success is built around family and service, consistently providing the highest quality products at real value for money. Call Statesman Windows.
Windows winning where you want them. Windows winning where you want them.
Make the switch to Kia's award-winning EV range. Experience up to 612 kilometres of range in the all-electric EV4 sedan. Relax in the premium massage seat of the all-electric EV5 family SUV. Or test drive the reigning Motoring Car of the Year EV3 SUV. Now from $46,990 drive away. Visit your local Kia dealership today.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Always local. 5AA. Always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
24 minutes to 4 here on 5AA. I know lots of people are gearing up for Gather Round, which gets underway tonight. And Rowie and Timmy G are going to be live from Adelaide Oval for you. I hear they've got some big names on the show as well. We'll hear more about that very soon. But as part of Gather Round, I'm excited to see how this goes because there's going to be a new laser light show at Adelaide Oval. It sounds fancy. How's it going to work? It sounds to me a bit like the Taylor Swift concert I went to a couple years ago. Chantella Pereira is the general manager at Kogo, who is the company behind this laser show, and she joins you now. Hi, Chantella.
Hi, Stacey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Very excited.
So is everyone that goes to the game tonight going to feel like they're at a Taylor Swift concert?
100%. That's the aim. I think it's the perfect blend of where culture, entertainment and sport come together. So it's it's going to be a fun night.
How will it work? How does a pre-game laser show look?
Well, so we've been working on this for a while, and it's been a good evolution of working with the AFL now for a couple of years. And I think for our Kojo team, we've been trying to work out how we continue to elevate what Gather Round's about. And I think, as you said, like it's not just about footy on the field. It's like, how do we bring that excitement and entertainment to what this is a show? And basically, we've rigged all these lasers around the venue. There's a really cool music program going with it. There's lights. It's a lot of curating behind the scenes, and it's about the story of Adelaide and the teams playing, and it'll be really cool. It's actually tailored each night, so the fans will get to come to each night game. We'll see slightly different version, but tonight it'll be pretty cool because everyone will get a wristband, and it'll be synced up to the show, and it'll be flashing along. So I reckon there's going to be some cool footage of what goes on tonight.
Nice. So there's a bit of a story that's being told.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what we kind of want fans to see and hear. It's not just the flashy lights and the flashy lasers. It's a bit of understanding what Gather Round's about. We're here for Adelaide in this great town, and, Gather Round is the real pinnacle of what this town is providing, and the whole takeover of the town is it's been so awesome to see evolve over the years, and we want to kind of bring that storytelling to what comes out on the field before the game gets going, and iconic voices narrating a bit of a story, the teams that are playing tonight. So see some logos for the Crows and Carlton playing tonight, and then each of the teams playing in the subsequent nights.
And will it just be the light-up wristbands and lasers pre-game, or will they be going off at different points during the game as well?
Yeah, your wristbands will go off at different points. So for all the fans seated in the bowl tonight, they'll see them flashing throughout. So when goals are getting kicked, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of Crows fans that are going to want a lot of goals kicked. So hopefully their wristbands are flashing up lots for them. It'll go off through the game to different moments. So kind of trying to see how we can elevate that experience for fans, so it's not just around what's happening on the field. They can see things going on screens, and then their wristbands will go off. There'll be music. So really trying to create like a really cool concert type of atmosphere. Hopefully second best to Taylor.
Yeah, well, it was very cool when I was there, and, huge stadium. Everyone's there, everyone's excited, everyone's screaming. But the fun part was when it got dark and the wristbands would light up at different times, so you could look through the stadium and see the crowd, and part of it was purple, part of it was white, part of it was pink, and then the lights were moving and everyone's wristband was changing as the show went on to match, I guess, what was up on screen at the show. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and that's what we're aiming for. Like, we think that we don't see that a lot in Australian sport, so it'll be really cool to be able to give the fans here a Gather Round that opportunity to do that in a non-concert environment. So to kind of have it synced up to moments like goals when the teams are running out onto the field. Yeah, there'll be quite a few different moments throughout the event, not just the pre-show, not just a laser show.
Although, does that mean that Crows fans with their light-up wristbands on will see it lighting up whenever Carlton scores a goal?
Yes. For the Carlton fans out there, we're in a neutral game, so we're going to assume there's some Carlton fans too. So
you're in Adelaide; it's never neutral here.
Yeah, I'm mindful of my audience.
Good call.
I think there's a fair few interstaters here, which is good to see.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, well, it sounds like a whole heap of fun, Chantella. Looking forward to seeing it on the screens tonight and all throughout Gather Round. Did you say every game or just a few games at Adelaide Oval?
Each of the night games. So, all the fans tonight will get a wristband, and then tomorrow night and Saturday night they'll still see the laser show, and Sunday night there'll be wristbands again.
All right, great. Thank you so much for telling us all about it.
Thank you.
That's Chantella Pereira, the Group General Manager at Kogo, which is the company behind the laser show. So that'll be very cool to see. I wasn't actually planning on watching tonight's game at home, but maybe I'll flick it on and see what those wristbands look like. Just a quick note, if you are going to the game, I should have asked Chantella if you get to take the wristbands home, because I took mine home from the Taylor Swift concert and it didn't work. I thought it would keep lighting up, but no, it didn't work. There you go. 8223 0000 is the number to call. If you're going to the game and you're excited about the laser show, the light show, it's all happening tonight. And up next, Dylan Buckley. He's got the Dill and Friends podcast and he's in town. He's one of many AFL media identities here for Gather Round, and he's the ambassador of an event happening on Saturday morning. So if you're like me and you usually go for your morning walk, or if you're a bit more active than I and you go for a morning run, he is the ambassador for Run for Your Club, which is happening on Saturday morning. We'll tell you all about it next.
For years, Eddie Maguire has been Eddie everywhere.
It certainly has been a big week in footy.
Now he's Eddie right here. Catch Eddie Maguire every Tuesday from 5 as he talks all things footy with Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
I'll tell you what's going on.
Thanks to Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. Cooking appliances, washing machines, dishwashers, TVs and more. 919 Marion Road, Marion.
The Lion Hotel's block party is back. Watch your Gather Round games live and loud. Meet footy legends Riley Thilthorpe, Tex Walker and more. Outdoor big screen, drink specials, live entertainment. The Lion Hotel, North Adelaide. Activities Wednesday to Saturday, midday till late.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
BRW. Bathroom Renovators Warehouse.
Looking for a stunning new bathroom? Want the high-end look without spending a fortune? BRW can design and renovate your bathroom from start to finish at a budget that suits you. Visit our showroom today and see our beautiful new bathrooms on display. BRW, beautiful bathrooms at warehouse prices. 16 Research Road, Paraka.
We are BRW. Bathroom Renovators Warehouse.
Harris Scarf mid-season sale is on now. Save 40% off full-price quilts, 50% off full-price mattress toppers and memory foam pillows, plus 40% off full-price sheets. Don't miss out. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
Sometimes the best deals come at the best time of the year, and right now they have. With Mannix and Fujitsu coming together to bring you massive autumn savings on ducted reverse cycle air conditioning. During April and May, save $1,000 with Mannix, plus up to $500 in Fujitsu cashbacks. That's savings up to $1,500, but it won't last or be repeated. Get your free quote today and get it installed in time for winter. Call 1300 Mannix or go online anytime.
It's all the little things that make the Murray Princess such an unforgettable experience. The breathtaking sunset, delicious food, wonderful wine, and conversations with new friends. Step aboard the Murray Princess and drift past majestic cliffs and river wildlife. Explore more with unique excursions that immerse you in the magic of the Murray. It's these little things that will create big memories. Book your 3, 4 or 7 night river cruise today at murrayprincess.com.au.
Hi, I'm Steve Wormald from Walco Liners and Covers out at Paraka. We're a manufacturing business. We'd never done radio. Contacted 5AA and were teed up with James Wellham. After I touched base with James, we had a meeting. We also got hooked up with Creative from 5AA. I had a strategy on timing of the ads. I didn't have really any clue on the content of the ad. So Creative, and I was trusting. I don't know anything about content. And I just said, go for your life. Do whatever you want. And I think you've got to do that. When you come to AA, creative, let them do their job, which is exactly what we did. We just went, go for it.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link for more information.
Come on in.
We open our doors to people we trust and care about. And for over 90 years, South Australians have been opening their doors to Rest Haven. In turn, we've been opening doors to an easier, better life at home. From personal care to help with the shopping and social outings, you'll welcome the care that Rest Haven brings.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Well, I mean, there's so many big names in town at the moment for Gather Round, so we had to go to one of the biggest, Dylan Buckley, podcaster, AFL media identity, and this year he's the ambassador for Run for Your Club. He's in town. Hello, Dylan. How are you?
Hey, how you going? Wow, one of the best intros I've had. I appreciate it.
You wrote that for me. Don't you remember sending it over?
Yeah, I did, but you read it well, so I appreciate that.
I wanted to start with Run for Your Club. This sounds really cool. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's an awesome initiative by the AFL. So we're running for your club, and we want everyone to get down to the Footy Festival on April the 11th on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. is the start. But get there nice and early for the sign up because we're running 4Ks to your club, and we want you wearing your club colours, which is absolutely awesome. There's so many people already coming. I think about over 1,000 have already signed up. And you can head to Ticketek online as well, actually, and just search under Gather Round, and it'll pop up. But it's it's an amazing event. Getting people down to have a run, and all funds are actually going towards the Royal Women's and Children's Hospital Foundation too, which is an awesome initiative. So I'm really excited to get down there and have a big run.
Yeah. I love the idea of it, except I'm not a runner. Could you just walk it?
100%. Whatever you're willing and able to do, you can walk, run, jog, even just come down in your AFL colours and support, as I mentioned, going towards such an amazing organisation. And, we really wanted to, along with the AFL, support a South Australian organisation, being the Royal Women's and Children's Hospital Foundation. So they're doing some great work, and I think it's just an awesome thing. There's so many fun activities on Gather Round this weekend. Like I'm going to the footy tonight, tomorrow night, and I love all these amazing events that sort of pop up, whether you're having a few beers tonight, you need to sweat out some demons, or you want to bring the family along and have some fun and go for a walk in the morning. Yeah, we'll be there from 8 a.m. at the Footy Festival.
How
which will
good.
be fantastic.
And it's only $10 to get involved, and a nice walk around the Torrens as well.
It's such a beautiful spot too. Look, I'm a Victorian, and I absolutely love Adelaide. Every time I'm down, I go for a run along the Torrens, and I'm just amazed how beautiful Adelaide is. It's so underrated. I don't think it is underrated now. I think through Gather Round and Live Golf and everything else that you guys have absolutely nailed, we've come to realise how special of a place it is. So as you said, it's a great way to start the day.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, though. It's not really a secret anymore. Adelaide. I'm from Sydney originally, and I hadn't, I didn't really know a whole lot about Adelaide before I moved here for work. And it was a bit of a secret that the eastern staters didn't really know about. And now it's just we've got out there too much, I think.
Oh, I think you have. I think it was the best kept secret until Gather Round started, and. Geez, it's probably hard to get over there now. But honestly, I say this a lot to my friends. Like, if I had the opportunity to play for a South Australian club, there's no way I would have left. But now with two kids, it's hard to sort of pick up and relocate. But people do it. You've done it for work. It's a beautiful spot. I for getting deep into it, just the whole vibe of South Australia, and I love the sense, the limestone houses and all those, the beautiful architecture. Like I seriously am I'm in awe of it. I've probably got to stop talking about it too much, but it is a very, very beautiful place.
No, go on. We love to talk about how good it is, and we especially love to hear Victorians tell us how good it is.
No, seriously, and even with Adelaide Oval, and I know that there's talk of them locking in the Gather Round for an extended period of time, and for me, it's a no-brainer. There's no place really in Australia like, with the ease of hotels, restaurants, the footy, that's all in such close proximity, and then even driving out to Norwood or Barossa is so easy. So, I sound like I'm working for South Australian government, but I just enjoy it. That's all.
Can we get you into the negotiations with, with the
I
AFL?
don't think you need it. I think you'll be fine. So we're really excited to get over, and I know a lot of my mates are doing the road trip or have been able to nab a flight, and obviously with the cost of living the way it is at the moment, it's been super challenging, but people have really prioritised this, and I think, this is one of those things that obviously there's a cost towards it, but it's going towards an amazing foundation, and really, really keen to get out there and have a walk, have a sweat, whatever it is, and set up your day for, hopefully go watch your team have a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all hoping that the gather round itself can get locked in for a bit longer. And I know that this might sound contradictory with the price of fuel at the moment, because we were worried that people wouldn't be able to make the road trip here from Victoria or WA, wherever they're coming from. But I actually think if there's a positive out of it, it's that it could help South Australian negotiations, because something like this happens and the price of fuel goes up. The drive from Melbourne to Adelaide isn't that crazy, and there's still a lot of people here. Hotel bookings are just as booked out as they were last year. So I think the argument to take it to WA or even Tassie into the future once the Devils join the comp is probably a tougher one than bringing gather round and keeping it here in Adelaide.
Well, it is hard to drive on water. I have never tried it myself, but I have heard that it's a bit more difficult to do. And then obviously the drive to Western Australia is probably like a 3-day trip. So I think you're right. I think we've nailed it. But like you said, it's been done so well, and Mally and the rest of the government alongside Andrew Dillon and everyone have done a really, really great concept here. And I think, they got a bit of heat for opening round, but a gather round can really bring us back to why, we love the footy festival and getting everyone together and, coming up with your friends or family, whoever it is, and watching some footy and spending some quality time together.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on opening round? So I'm not a huge footy head. I obviously keep a watch of it, and especially I'm a Port supporter, so especially what's happening with Port and the Crows. But I never really understood the idea of opening round. It's kind of like a round 0.5 and then you have round 1, but it is played for points. But what's the point in having it if it's just call it round 1? Why not just have it's strange to me. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think the initial idea, I'm not sure if this is 100% correct, but from my memory, the initial idea was to get up to those northern states and try and win some fans, because the NRL had a magic round on and they travelled to Las Vegas to play that round. So there was no rugby league being played in those states. So they thought, well, an opportunity to try and get some people converted to AFL whilst that's not, being played, which I think is a good idea. And then it probably turned into a bit more around, other teams playing. And I think with the buys across the rounds 1, 2 and 3, even 4, I think it might have gone to, has been really difficult for some teams and to, back up off that. So I think, but they've definitely acknowledged that I think it won't happen again next year, or will definitely look a little bit different. But, mate, I'm all for trying things, throw as many things at the wall, see what sticks. I think gather round's obviously one that's working. Maybe opening round will bid farewell, but, we've got to focus on the positives at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And good luck with the run on Saturday morning. Thank you for your time, Dylan, and all the best.
I'll see you there, obviously.
I'll try my best. I've got a sick baby at home, so we'll see how she's feeling by then.
Okay, well, that's a good excuse to do. But actually, look after yourself, look after
thank
your
you.
young one, and sending my love to her, and hopefully it's all good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she'll be good. Thanks so much for your time. Have a good weekend.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Dylan Buckley, his podcast is Dill and Friends. You can hear it wherever you get your podcasts from, and he'll be here at gather round matches as well, so you might see him at the Oval. Yeah, and there is just so much happening this weekend. So as you know, we'll continue to cover it on the program tomorrow and coming up on the Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G, who are actually live down at Telstra Plaza at Adelaide Oval, the southern entrance. So if you're going to the Crows game, go down and give the boys a wave. They have a huge show. You do not want to miss this. 5:30 p.m, Andrew Dillon, the CEO of the AFL. Maybe Rowie and Timmy can do what the state government has been unable to do so far. Maybe they can secure gather round for the next few years. We'll see what they say. I'm looking forward to hearing that. So that's at 5:30. Andrew Dillon, the CEO of the AFL. They'll also have Tim Silvers from the Crows and Caro Wilson on. So don't miss the sports show with the boys coming up after the 4 o'clock news. Thank you to everyone for your calls and your text messages today. I will talk to you at 1 o'clock tomorrow.